morning.
Let me share with you the enchanting tale of El Consejo de los Dioses, a lesser-known gem by a great Filipino national hero. In a time long past, in the beautiful and lush islands of the Philippines, where legends and stories whispered through the coconut trees and danced with the waves. There was a tale spun by a gifted pen of Jose Rizal. A tale not of heroes battling monsters or warriors seeking glory, but of gods and mortals, of wisdom and folly. The story begins in the heavens.
Fearing the loss of dominion over the seas due to audacity of mortals. Botman remains diligently engaged in the creation of Thunderbolt Yutas Jungwit, ensuring the armament of Olympus, and is currently in the final stages of the competition. Regarding Pluto...
Enough! I don't need them either. Heavy, Ganymede, serve the nectar so the mortals may drink.
Yes, my lord.
the garden city, your artisanal land. Surely we're all free to buy however we want. But I sense my student behavior got under your skin, and now you're just using it as an excuse.
Defend him, Serenos, so they won't tell that your followers have plenty of bad manners.
Esteemed gods, once upon a time, bold mortals sought to ascend Olympus, stacking mountains in their audacious quest to challenge my rule. Only through your strength and my thunderbolt were they thwarted. Some cast into Tartarus, and others buried beneath Etna's flames. Now, as Earth returns to its celestial alignment of all, I shall propose to mark this occasion with a celebration befitting our divine status. To commence, I announce a literary contest offering exquisite prizes, a magnificent war trumpet, a lyre akin from Apollos, and a laurel crown from my immortal gardens. These treasures of equal value shall honor the mortal deemed most worthy, distinguished both in intellect and virtue. Therefore, I implore you to nominate the deserving recipient of these esteemed awards.
Allow me, Jupiter, to speak first. No one can better present me a mortal as perfect as the divine Homer. Who dares dispute his supremacy? His Iliad and Odyssey are unmatched. One brave and bold, the other reflective and prudent. No other poet has captured our grandeur, and that is the God so magnificently, as if he were present among us on Olympus. Who else has kindled the incense of Arabia before our images and offered sacrificial offerings to appease our anger? Homer's verses recount the most sublime battles with unmatched splendor, singing of divinity, knowledge, virtue, bravery, heroism, and disaster. He alone deserves the prize, for no other has earned such universal esteem among the Olympian gods.
I beg your pardon, esteemed sister, and consort of great Jupiter, if I cannot align with your esteemed viewpoint. And to you, Jupiter, unseen by mortal eyes, I humbly implore your indulgence and I present my case. I beseech you not to disregard the merits of Virgil, who exalted my son Aeneas in his immortal verses. Reflect upon Virgil's lyre, which reverberated with our glories and tenderly conveyed, even in the depths of tragic life. His verses, both mellifluous and poignant, profoundly steered his soul, extolling piety through the noble deeds of Anchises' son. Aeneas exploits no less illustrious than to swage at the foot of the Trojan wall, elevating above the impetuous Achilles. In essence, Virgil outshines the poet of chaos in every aspect, meeting all the criteria set forth by your divine discernment.
What? Why should a Roman poet be chosen over the Greek? How can Virgil merely imitating Homer surpass him? When has a copy ever excelled the original? Ah, lovely Venus, your error doesn't surprise me. Mothers beyond love and beyond your understanding. Besides, emotions rarely fit reasons. Please, let's drop the argument. I implore you, in consideration of your countless admirers.
Oh, Juno, as jealous as you are vengeful, despite your immeasurable memory, always recalling the unjust denial of the golden apple of your renowned, yet somewhat unappreciated beauty. I am dismayed to see you forgotten the rigorous insult hurled by your beloved Homer against us. But if you found him reasonable and truthful, that's your prerogative, and I commend you for it. As for me, let the other gods of Olympus judge.
Yes, let them claim in favor of Virgil because he treated you well, and Juno defends Homer because he champions vengeance. They even say that both of you are merely exchanging pleasantries and compliments. But Jupiter, why remain silent in this debate? You're sitting there acting like a dumbfounded fool, as if listening to a long-winded speech in Olympus feasts.
can you let this ugly creature insult us? Kick him out of Olympus. His breath reeks.
Praise Juno, never insult. She just called me ugly and deformed.
Be quiet, you god of mockery. Enough of this nonsense. Let Minerva speak. Her opinion always aligned with mine since forever.
Exactly. Another troublemaker like you. Always quotes her now as her thousand without.
Hear me, Jupiter, and esteemed gods. Do not misconstrue my words. I am ever loyal to the thunder hurler's will. In the ancient Hesperion, beyond Pyrenees, lies a man whose renown rivals that of Olympus. Cervantes, from Spain, suffered greatly, yet he responded with grace, educating rather than seeking revenge from his immortal lord, Don Quixote. This masterpiece serves as both a corrective wit and a nectar of virtue, teaching through laughter and gentle discipline. Amidst of a literary chaos, where bad taste prevailed, Cervantes emerged as a beacon of light. His work dispelled darkness, and his influence corrected the errors of his time. While Homer celebrated heroism and Virgil praised piety, it was Cervantes who truly reformed the manners of his age. His appearance heralded a new era of truth and enlightenment. As for his merits, let Apollo, the ultimate judge of beauty and artistry, attest if Cervantes has not honored his immortal authors with his work.
Please, Father, receive my arguments with the same delight you have when listening to voluminous, plaintive songs in white hands. The Muses and I have read a book, Minerva spoke, of in the gardens of Parnassus. Its lively style and pleasing rhythm reminds me of the bubbling fountain in an Ambrine cave. Even in the depths of poverty, where hunger and misery reign, a humble servant of mine has lifted his voice to me, offered a tribute more precious than the chariot of horses. In the dismal dungeon, he spent forth poetry swifter than the golden waters of Paphos. Why deny his greatness and award him victory as the greatest genius the universe has known? His pockets beloved by the Muses. It consoles the downtrodden. It enlightens the ignorant and faithfully portrays Spanish customs. Therefore, I concur with wise Minerva, and may the gods who disagree pardon.
If Cervantes' greatest achievement is enduring misfortune, and otherwise he doesn't surpass anyone, then we can say the same about Homer. Blind and destitute, Homer relied on charity, wandering from place to place, with only his lyre as company. Enduring extreme hardship, remember his wild Apollo.
And what about Virgil? Wasn't he also poor? Didn't he survive on just a single loaf of bread, a gift from Caesar? The melancholy of his work speaks volume of the suffering of his insensitive heart. Could he have suffered any less than Cervantes or Homer?
That's so true, of course. But remember that Cervantes was wounded, captured, and held captive in Africa, enduring an immense suffering and living under constant threat of death.
No! I swear and never! As long as there is an immortal blood in me, Cervantes will not prevail. How can I allow a book of triumph that tarnishes my glory and ridicules my feasts? Jupiter, I assisted you once, so hear me out.
Listen, Jupiter George, to the sensible argument of brave bars. His words carry light and truth. How can we allow a respected figure like Cervantes to be replaced by a newcomer with one arm who is scorned by society?
And if you, the father of gods and men, doubt my arguments, ask any of others if they will defend their views with their strength.
Silly Mars, you've forgotten the Trojan battlefield where the mortals wounded you? If you think your swords can defeat my arguments, I'm ready to face you. But to prove you wrong, remember that Cervantes bravely served you at the Battle of Lepanto, where he risked his life. He turned to writing not to insult you, but because it was the will of the gods. Don't be ungrateful, Mars. Cervantes mocked outdated. Your true honor lies in battles on the battlefields, not in such outdated fights. If my words can convince you, I'm ready for your challenge.
Go back to your seat! Minerva, Apollo, and you Mars and Bellona, do not provoke celestial fury! I shall put an end to this dispute. Justice shall weigh the books with strict impartiality, and what she decrees shall be followed in the world, while you shall accept her immutable judgment. Gods and goddesses, justice sees them as equals. Let's honor them accordingly. Homer with the trumpet. Virgil with the lyre. And Cervantes with the laurel crown. As destiny's verdict is announced by fate, Apollo will sing a hymn for this new star shining in glory and taking a place in the temple of immortality.
Hail to you, greatest of men, beloved by the Muses. Your brilliance shall illuminate the universe, drawing countless admirers. Bride of Spain, you are a masterpiece, destined to surpass antiquity. Your name shall be immortalized, inspiring envy among future geniuses. You shall rise like a monument, captivating all who behold you. With the same strength, inspired Muses, wave immortal crowns for Cervantes, from fragrant myrtle, beautiful laurel, and red roses.
Cylinders, frogs, and satyrs dance in the dark forest, while nymphs and water spirits scatter fragrant flowers and sing by the waters. The muses, nymphs, and naiads begin to dance. Meanwhile, the gods and goddesses arrange themselves on either side of the stage, which has been cleared of their thrones. Their words like celestial constellations shine brightly in the firmament of human achievement. And so ends our journey through the divine council, where the muses of literature and the gods of Olympus can bridge in timeless celebration. El Consejo de los Dioses.